Joining us. It's October 15th, 2024. Welcome to our City Council meeting. I am calling this meeting to order. To the citizens, neighbors, friends, and family of Oldsmar, our second Hurricane Milton was very scary for each of us. That was the longest night of my life. Thank you to city staff for keeping our water plant and sewer plant up and running for our citizens. Staff worked hard getting the site ready for the large amount of trash to be removed. They worked throughout the storm all night, closed flooded roads for our safety. Thank you to the Sheriff's Department for working with city staff to keep our employees safe. The fire department worked so hard 2 nights. We had a major fire in our city. Thank you to our fire department. Tico and the linemen from around the country for working around the clock to restore power to our citizens. Thank you to all the volunteers helping each other, all working together so our city can get back to some type of normal. 2 major hurricanes in a row has put a lot of stress on all of us. But again, we will work together to get through this. We have learned so much from both storms. The long sandbag lines, the shortage of gas. Let's continue to work together on developing a comprehensive plan exploring alternatives and solutions to protect citizens and properties from damage. Let's be ready before the next one. Thank you for helping each other to get back on our feet. Together we will continue to pull through. The offering of help from each of you has built lifetime friendships within our community. This is not over. We all must continue to get everything cleaned up. Please, everyone, stay focused and positive. We will prevail. We will survive. We will rebuild Oldsmar, and our city manager would like to give us an update.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, council members, member of the public. It's my honor to provide an update on the city's response to the challenges presented by Hurricanes Helene and Milton. These back-to-back historical storms, along with a flash flood, I believe you all were there for the flash flood, tested us in many ways. But I'm incredibly proud of how our city staff came together to prepare, respond, and begin recovery. About 170 city employees train all year round for emergencies, as evident in the city's response. In the days leading up to both hurricanes, city staff took immediate action to ensure our city and its residents were prepared. Our teams organized sandbag operations, providing thousands of bags to residents to help protect their homes. City staff also worked diligently to secure our facilities and equipment, moved assets to safer locations, and cleared storm drains. Supplies such as fuel and other emergency provisions were ordered in advance to ensure we were fully stocked. In addition to the physical preparations, we maintained an open line of communication with our residents through our website and oldsmarstrong.com, social media, door-to-door flyer distribution, and alert Pinellas notifications. We ensured that everyone in the community had access to vital information. The city also activated a special communication team. It's still activated to provide answers and assist residents and businesses. When the storms arrived, we were ready. We activated the city's Emergency Operations Center, which allowed us to coordinate and shelter about 70 emergency personnel during the storm, including our city staff, along with representatives from Pinellas County Sheriff's, TICO, and the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust and outside contractors. These teams worked around the clock, ensuring critical response measures were in place. Despite the severity of both storms, I'm happy to report that Oldsmar never lost water or sewer services. City staff worked tirelessly to keep all 26 lift stations operational by moving generators and pumps without power under extremely challenging conditions. Although one of our lift stations remains on a bypass pump to this day, city staff continue to distribute drinking and process wastewater. Our community came together in other ways. The Oldsmar Support Services Alliance, a collaborative effort between local nonprofits, Oldsmar Cares, Operations Jack's Village, Community United Methodist Church of Oldsmar, Life is a Donation, VFW Post 12186, and the city played a key role in providing essential supplies, food, water, clothing, cleaning supplies, and labor to help clean out people's private homes. This shows how deeply committed the Oldsmar community is to supporting one another. The day after Milton, city staff conducted damage assessments required by FEMA, documenting over 600 structures that were impacted. We're closely working with state and federal agencies to ensure that our residents have access to all the available recovery resources. If your home is damaged, please make sure you contact the city's Planning and Redevelopment Department before starting any work. We have extended hours and we'll meet with you by appointment. We are here to guide you through the process. Give us a call and we'll guide you through it all. That's our new motto, and we commit to that. Debris collection began last week after it was safe outside. While we initially estimated a 4 to 6 week timeline, the additional impact from Hurricane Milton has extended this. I just don't know. However, we expect more resources to arrive in the coming days, and we encourage residents to continuing follow FEMA guidelines for separating storm debris. This helps expedite the process. West Coast Demolition LLC has been hauling loads since last week to Pinellas County Waste Facility, while Crowder Gulf is taking debris to the lot next to City Hall. The debris is going to remain there until it's reduced either by compacting or chipping. It will be then hauled to a final disposal site. City staff quickly permitted the Oldsmar Sports Complex and the City Hall sites through FDEP after we were informed that the county required their sites to meet their needs. We usually share a site with them at Keystone and East Lake Road. There's so much debris countywide, they just couldn't help us in this time. So Crowder Gulf is investigating private sites as well. To ensure the safety of our residents on the road, city staff quickly assessed and are replacing missing street signs and deployed temporary traffic control measures where necessary. City employees worked quickly after both storms to clear roadways, ensuring emergency vehicles could pass and that residents could safely access their neighborhoods. All of our roads are accessible. We've been assessing the stormwater infrastructure for deficiencies, and our teams are addressing these issues in order of priority to make sure that the system is operating as best as it can. Remember, stormwater systems were not designed to handle the amount of flow that they've received over the last few months. Our parks teams have been out clearing parks and trails filled with an enormous amount of debris. As you can imagine, this will take some time, Mobley Beach especially. It remains closed. Throughout these challenging times, our fire and rescue department has been exceptional, responding to significant increase in calls. From storm-related incidents to emergency evacuations to medical emergencies, their commitment ensured that all our needs are met. Our finance team has also had an enormous amount of work supporting emergency procurements, managing insurance claims, resolving storm-related payroll issues, overseeing fuel supply, and ensuring all expenditures are properly documented so that we get FEMA reimbursement. This is a monumental task that will be ongoing for the foreseeable future. This is in addition to all of everybody's daily workload. As we work toward returning to normal, I'm pleased to announce that most city services have resumed their regular schedules. Oldsmar Library, City Hall, Utility Building, Oldsmar Sports Complex are open, offering our residents a sense of normalcy after these difficult weeks. Cypress Forest Recreation Center is going to open tomorrow. In closing, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to our city employees. The challenges we face from Hurricane and Milton have been immense. But the dedication, hard work, and resilience of this team have even been greater. Along with volunteers and residents, we are making incredible progress every day, and I'm confident that we will come out stronger than ever. Again, I said this last meeting, Oldsmar Strong really says it all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. We're going to get started with our invocation that will be led by our city attorney, Tom Trask, and then the Girl Scout Troop 1847 will recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Young ladies, would you come up here, please, for us? Please rise, everyone. In front of the podium. And face the flag. Face this way. All right, bow your head.
Our Heavenly Father, as we see all the destruction caused by Hurricanes Helene and Milton, we mourn for all that has been lost. Please be with those who have lost somebody they love and give them comfort. Please be with those who lost their homes. Give them the necessary assistance they need to rebuild. Be with those whose jobs is to clean up the mess left behind by this disaster. Give them the endurance and strength they need to complete their responsibilities. Finally, let us grow closer together as a city, state, and nation. In this we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Thank you. Great job. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Next item on our agenda is the Oldsmar Open Forum. Each speaker will be recognized once and be limited to a 5-minute comment on any subject that is not scheduled for a public hearing. The open forum will conclude at 7:30 p.m. If you have filled out a speaker card, please hand it to the city clerk. Filling out a speaker card is not mandatory, and you will still be given an opportunity to speak. When speaking, please state your name and address for the record. Is there anybody that'd like to speak to the council? Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Justin Bryan. I live right off of Guilford. I live on Guilford Street, which some of you may not be familiar. It's the last right off a racetrack. We are generally impacted by, like, anytime there's a flood, like it hits us. And what I got to talk about really doesn't have to do so much with, like, the flood and debris. Over there on Guilford Street, we're having issues with coastal waste and recycling, with them just picking up our regular cans. And we just want them to take our trash is really, we just would like our trash removed. Generally speaking, when they do miss us, I guess maybe we're like the last on their line or something. When they miss us, they don't do like a makeup day or anything. It's just till the next time. Usually that's just annoying. In situations like this, it's actually, becoming like a serious health hazard because I got trash on my curb that's been there for almost 2 weeks now. So because, and talking to them, their messaging, they want to blame it on the storm, but they also missed the Thursday before and the Monday before. So yesterday was the first day we've had our trash picked up on Guilford Street in almost 2 weeks. And that is a big issue. Yesterday, when they came back, of course, we had 2 weeks worth of trash on our curb. I got my can right there, a little can right next to it because there's 2 weeks of trash. They only took the one thing. And again, talking to them, they're going to say, oh, well, it was storm debris, but I had it completely segregated on the opposite side of my driveway. So I had storm debris over here, little can with overflow from, again, 2 weeks. And now it's to the point where it is becoming a health hazard. It's attracting animals, all sorts of stuff. So I just would like to see somebody hold them accountable because just one guy calling them on the phone, they really don't care. The messaging on their phone was to, I remember when I called when we first came back after the storm, they were saying, oh, we're going to open up, but there was no way to leave a message or anything, So I'm coming to you guys to hold them accountable. That's really all I got. And thank you.
Justin?
Yes,
fill out
sir.
One of those green cards, and would you please give it to the city clerk?
What
And
green
someone will
cards?
they're on the back table there.
Okay.
Okay, and then give it to the city clerk and,
It's the white card I have. The white card.
or the white
Okay.
card.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak? Come on up.
My name is Catherine Oxendine. I also live on Guilford Street. I moved to Oldsmar in 1967. I've never seen anything like this. This trash company we have is trash. The people we had before, I don't care if I had 10 cans out there, they picked them up. And like my neighbor across the street, not him, but my other neighbor across the street, he said, if it says Oldsmar, City of Oldsmar, it should be picked up. If it's in trash cans that we bought somewhere else, you don't have to pick it up. But we evacuated for this second storm because I got trapped during Helene, and I have a special needs child, and I couldn't get out at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was terrified. And I'm 67 years old. If I can drag my trash to the street, by God, you can pick it up. You're getting paid. We are paying for it. And for over 2 weeks, they did not pick up our trash. When I come home from evacuation, everything in the refrigerator and freezer was gone. I had to throw it out. Where am I going to put it? I have 2 trash cans that they never picked up. So you know where I put it? I put it in the recycle because that's the only place I could put it. We have coyotes, we have possums, we have everything else out there at night. They ravage our yards when we're asleep. We don't know what they're doing. I mean, I don't have cameras with red lights that can see who's out there and what they're doing. But it's disgusting. My neighbor that lives directly across the street from me, he's at 1010 Guilford, he's got maggots and ants because they didn't pick his trash up. We're on a dead-end street. They told us to put all of our trash on the south end of the street. So there's 3 garbage cans there. 1 belongs to him, 2 belongs to me. My 2 have been there for 3 weeks. They took 1 of mine, and they didn't take his. And he had a garbage bag on top of the can because it didn't fit in the garbage. And I saw flies, maggots. They've already reproduced. I don't know how long it takes. But, you know, it's crazy, and we're paying for it. And for 2 weeks, if they're not, they should give us money back. We need a different trash company. We really do, because this is, it's unsanitary. It's disgusting. Anything else? I mean, I drove through Oldsmar on the way over here. I didn't see a single trash can on Park, Dartmouth, any of those streets, because they pick up Oldsmar first, because they want it to look clean and they want it to look nice. They don't give a crap about us because we're over on the side street and we're on a dead-end street and they can't see it. And like he said, we don't care about the debris. We have debris there from Helene. When they get to it, they get to it, but the minor stuff in the house needs to be picked up.
Please fill out one of the white cards and give it to the city clerk, please, so city staff can get back with you, please, and follow up.
Make sure we have
Thank you
your
for coming out.
address. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak to the council? Come on up.
I wasn't going to do this today, but I just wanted to bring to your attention that Rhonda Dunkley, she's been an enormous asset to this city. She created this 2024 Hurricane Helene and Milton, and not only did she help me on Shore Drive East, she was just connecting everybody with everything. So I just wanted to recognize that.
She lives in my neighborhood. She's amazing. Thank you very much for saying that.
Thanks, Carmen.
Jerry, you want to come up?
Jerry Beaverland, 512 Pine Avenue South, and Mayor, you said something that everybody should understand, that we're not a big city, we're not a little city. We are a community because we know each other. I've lived here for 59 years. I got friends on both sides of Tampa Road. We are a community. We're not a big town or a little town, but we do know each other. I also want to thank everybody that helped their neighbors. That's a big deal. So I've been through a lot of hurricanes here in this town. 59 years worth. And it can be very stressful. I sit there in the middle of my house when I can't control the water coming through my house. So I know how stressful it is. I'm gonna be a little long there, but the council needs to hear this. Three weeks ago, I got a call from the sheriff's department. And he said, I doubt that this is really a big problem. He says, but I have to follow up on this. so I got some questions I need to ask you. That's fine. The first time this happened was in 1966 when two sheriff's deputies, no, two sheriffs, high-end sheriffs, part of them, came to my front door, knocked on my front door, and said, Mr. Beaverland, your life's been threatened, and we're here to help you. He said, the people that threatened you wanted to make you fish bait. And he said, we told them if anything happens to me or your family, he says, we're coming after them first. And I said, that's fine. I slept next to my 44 Magnum for a long time after that. Don't threaten me. What happened, Mayor, is that there was some big people in Pinellas County, government people, developing people, that came to the city in 1970 and said they wanted to develop the triangle between Tampa Road and Curley Road into a travel trailer park for the racetrack. That's where the theater is sits today. Well, that didn't go well with me because that doesn't enhance the city of Oldsmar. I mean, we were a little town, nobody knew who we were. We had maybe 1,000 people here. And I fought against that at that meeting. And so they decided, council decided, well, we'll vote it on the next meeting. 2 nights later, I got a phone call from one of the big shots at Pinellas County and said, look, it's worth $10,000 to us to develop that piece of land. And I said, I'm sorry you called me tonight. I said, what you need to do, I didn't think about it because you're not going to bribe me, so I just, off the top of my head, I should have thought about it a little bit. I said, what you need to do is bring a $10,000 check at the next council meeting and hand it to the mayor. We didn't have a city manager back then. So at the next council meeting, here they come. First thing they do is walk up to the mayor and hand him a check for $10,000 for a feasibility study. That's what I said, for a feasibility study. I didn't know it at the time, but another council member accepted the $10,000. So when it came to that time I blew up. They lost their zoning and they lost their $10,000. Then I got threatened. That's okay. You're not buying me. That was the first time that I had to deal with the sheriff's department. I had to deal with them other times after that for some other reason. This time they said, Jerry, did you threaten the code enforcement officer? I said, I don't even know who the code enforcement officer is. I've never seen him or her. I've never talked to him. I've never called them. I didn't threaten anybody. If I tell you something, it's not a threat, it's a promise. That's fine. And so I handed her a card a little while ago for later, next week, because nobody's going to answer me tonight. I want to know who called the sheriff's department to tell them that I threatened the code enforcement officer. I want that answered. I would ask the council, maybe you want to go to the city manager and ask her, let you listen to the phone call that I left on her message because she wasn't in the office. I don't talk to anybody at the city halls except the city clerk and the city manager. And what I did, I called the city manager and I said, listen, I want to give you, this is important, I want to give you heads up. I'll be at the next council meeting. We're going to talk about the code enforcement department. I give you all pictures of what I live next door. You saw it. And by the way, thank you. She came and picked up my signs that I told you all about, that the city should have picked them up. Katie came by and picked them up. They were heavy, weren't they?
They were very heavy.
Okay. Again, I want to thank her and everybody, anybody else that helped the neighbor during this, like, during these, this is very stressful going through this. It's very stressful on me going through this. And then I got to worry about stressfulness, somebody calling the sheriff's on me. I'll be back in the next council meeting. I got some more other things to talk about. But where I live next door, you got 30 or 20 or 30 palm trees that he used that place for he was a landscaper, and that's where he stored his, and they're still there, and I got to put up with that. Anyway,
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for coming out.
find out who I threatened. Find out who called the sheriff's department on me. I will bring it back at the next meeting, who called them on me and how they got it. Because I only left a message with the city manager. I didn't threaten anybody. Thank you.
Are there any other persons that would like to be heard? Come on up.
My name is John Durrell. I used to live on Lemonwood Drive. It's currently a war zone. My house is uninhabitable. So I currently live in a safety harbor. I'm an economist, and I love Oldsmar. A couple weeks ago, I was talking about our journey from heartbreak to hope from Hurricane Helene. Here we are for round 2. And a lot of people are still hurting. And we're currently, I would say, at the stage we need help. A lot of people need help. So that's what I'm here to talk about tonight. And there was a lot of good news. There was a lot of good news. So I'll start with the good news before we go to the bad news. But yeah, Helene was kind of a gut punch. And then Milton was like kicking us while we're down. So it delayed everything, and it hurt more people. So we found out who we can count on. We can count on our friends, count on our neighbors. We can count on family, and we can count on the citizens of Oldsmar. And I know specifically, because people have told me, or I've seen it in person, that we can count on every single elected council member. So, I'll start with Katie. You've been working your butt off, and I even said you need to, slow down, don't burn out. But you kept powering on, and we thank you because working a full-time job and doing all you've done in the community takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and it shows you care. And we appreciate that, and so many people that you've helped appreciate that as well. Andrew, I know you volunteered your time as well, helping the community, helping with supplies, helping with, I forget specifically what it was called, but over at Veterans Park, helping a lot of people. Val was there as well, I know that, and she won't say it because she's too humble, but Ginger has been working super hard too, all over the community, and we need it because we're counting on the residents, we're counting on the citizens of Oldsmar. And Steve, I know you've been working too, behind the scenes. I've heard, so I appreciate that. Mayor Dan, I drive by your house every day. I've seen you've taken multiple hits. I walk in and you're trying to remove drywall and trying to fix a computer and trying to answer emails and trying to cover Facebook and trying to do a million things, but you're leading from the front. And I thank you for going above and beyond and using political connections, because that's what this is about, not making excuses, getting results, and getting our power turned back on, applying pressure to TECO, whatever. Because we had It was unexcusable how long we didn't have power. We're talking about rotten food in the trash cans. And the trash can issue wasn't just your street, but I feel for you. It was widespread. It's a bigger issue. The rotting meat, the animals, the maggots, that is a sanitation issue. So we found out who we can count on, and we found out who we can't count on. I've already said TECO. They're very good at raising rates, but a few trees fall down, and there's a lot of excuses, but they need to get the job done, and they need to feel pressure from town management and from the mayor. So we thank you for that. We can't count on FEMA. We can't hide behind FEMA. We can't talk about their regulations. For reasons we all know, the feds don't necessarily care about Florida. So I've spoken to their representative, Antonio, very nice, very polite, very kind. The problem's not him. The problem is the agency he works for. He didn't provide any value, any help, just excuses and reasons not to help. We'll find out if we can count on the insurance companies. And Tom, I hope you can help people file claims and get through this, because that's coming next. That's going to be round 2, holding the insurance companies accountable. Before Milton, I was at work, and my wife was waiting in line for 2 hours to get sandbags for our house while I was doing the windows. 2 hours with a crying baby. Got to the front of the line, she was given sandbags, not bags filled with sand. So can we count on town management to help the citizens? I've taken my own time to find a sandbagging machine, and I'm shocked that we don't already have it. This thing does 1,000 bags per hour. We have elderly people in this community. Oldsmar deserves better. We don't deserve empty sandbags. We deserve better. So I am trying to help, and I'll give this to you, and I expect results, not excuses.
Thank you, John. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to the council? With that, I'm going to close the Oldsmar open forum. Next item on our agenda is the community minute. The community minute will be read by our city clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Good evening. Oldsmarstrong.com for resources, cleanup, and recovery assistance and information pertaining to community efforts. The city has created a specific site that includes these tools and more. Visit Oldsmar Strong for details. Oldsmarstrong.com for details. And this is our, let me find it. There we go. This is our latest flyer that is in the back for everyone. And again, Oldsmar Strong is listed at the top. And then rebuilding, check with the Planning and Redevelopment Department at 813-749-1142 or email building@myoldsmar.com before you begin construction. To ensure you're dealing with the licensed contractor, pinellas.gov, choosing a contractor. And then that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Approval of additional new agenda item. We only have one. It's item number 2. I need a motion for approval.
Second?
I have a motion in the second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is awards and recognition. Proclamation for the Florida City Government Week, October 21st through the 27th, 2024. Councilmember Steve Graber will present the proclamation. Vice Mayor. What'd I say?
Council.
My fault, Steve.
Got it? Okay, good. Well done. Thank you, former council member Siraki. Happy weekend, everybody, but I'm so very fortunate to be able to provide this proclamation to you tonight. So it's Florida City Government Week. Whereas city government is the government closest to most citizens, and the one with the most direct daily impact upon its residents. And whereas municipal government provides services and programs that enhance the quality of life for residents, making their city their home. And whereas city government is administered for and by its citizens and is dependent upon public commitment to and understanding of its many responsibilities. And whereas city government officials and employees share the responsibility to pass along the understanding of public services and their benefits. And whereas Florida City Government Week offers an important opportunity for elected officials and city staff to spread the word to all citizens of Florida that they can shape and influence this branch of government. And whereas the Florida League of Cities and its member cities have joined together to teach citizens about municipal government through a variety of activities. Now, therefore, I, Steve Graber, Vice Mayor of the City of Oldsmar,
These guys are so bad.
on behalf of Dan Saraki, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim October 21 to 27, 2024 as Florida City Government Week in the City of Oldsmar, and encourage all citizens, city government officials, and employees to recognize and celebrate Florida City Government Week. And our city manager, Felicia Donnelly, has already told me she's not going to talk, but we are going to pose for a picture, so I would ask Mayor and Council to please join me down here. Staff, if you're here, Daniel Simpson, I'm looking at you. Sue Hurley, we're coming on up. Cindy. Bobby. Tatiana. Oh, you have to take the picture.
All right, everybody smile. You ready? Cheese.
Okay, another one? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Great job.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, next item on our agenda is the consent docket. This will be read by our city clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Mayor. Item 2, approve minutes of October 7th, 2024 emergency council meeting. Item 3, approve payment of July, August, September 2024 legal services to Bartlett, Loeb, Hens, and Thompson, PLLC, for Eric Seidel's litigation defense. Item 4, approve payment to legal counsel for September 2024 legal services. Item 5, approve 2023-013 ITB Contract Amendment 1 for aquatic algae and weed control services with American Ecosystems, Inc. Item 6, approve awarding the purchase of a John Deere 524P wheel loader to Dobbs Equipment per the pricing terms and conditions, Florida Sheriff's Association, Florida Association of Counties Contract, FSA 23EQU 21.0, wheel loader -3.0 CYD bucket spec number 244. Item 7, approve purchases of miscellaneous utility appurtenances, including meters, backflows, valves, and hydrants from Core and Main LP for the same pricing terms and conditions of the City of Boynton Beach contract number WH22-047. Item 8, approve single source purchase of Neptune products and services related to the water meters and registers from Ferguson Waterworks per notice of intent to single source 2024-013-SS. Item 9, authorize the advertisement of invitation to bid 2025-001 ITB BMX Turn Construction. Item 10, authorize the advertisement of invitation to bid 2025-002 ITB Landscaping Services. Item 11, award contract for street sweeping services to Sweeping Corporation of America under same terms and conditions as Sourcewell contract number 062421. Item 12, award purchase of IT equipment, software, and services to VTech IO based on the same pricing, terms, and conditions as the State of Florida DMS contract number 432100-23-NAS-PO-ACS. Item 13, award purchase of library materials for the Oldsmar Public Library to Baker and Taylor for fiscal year 2024-2025 under the same terms, conditions, and pricing as the State of Florida DMS contract number 550-0000023-NY-ACS.
Thank you very much. Does anybody wish to pull anything from the consent docket? I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on any of these items? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item is interview applicant for Code Enforcement Board, alternate member vacancy. And Carmen Blatt, you're here. Want to come up to the podium, please? Welcome. How are you today?
I'm fine, I'm peachy.
Thank you so much for volunteering and coming out tonight. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to volunteer?
Sure. Moved to Oldsmar 11 years ago and immediately got involved with Oldsmar Cares and Upper Tampa Bay with the Oldsmar, City of Oldsmar activities. Then I became a volunteer with the Leisure Services Board, and I'm currently in the Public Art Task Force. Pretty much looking at fun things because I'm a soloist, I'm a dancer, so I'm thinking fun, community things. But recently I was considering, well, I'm a retired federal auditor, very familiar with reviewing federal regulations, state regulations, policies, procedures, compliance, implementation. So I said, why not try code enforcement? It's my idea of contributing toward the community and the city of Oldsmar. So,
Thank you, Carmen. That was wonderful. Do we have any questions from Carmen? Anyone?
I first met Carmen on the Leisure Services Advisory Board, I remember. And you even took our picture tonight. She's volunteering all over the place.
Thank you so much for your service. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion for this? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Carmen.
Thank you, Carmen.
All right. Next item on our agenda is a public hearing, and our city attorney, Tom Trask, will handle that.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a public hearing and second reading of ordinance 2024-17. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2024-17, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the Land Development Code to revise the definition of accessory structure, to require building plans for accessory structures over 100 square feet to be compliant with the Florida Building Code, to amend the location of accessory structures in residential districts, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2024-17 by title only.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing, so I am going to open the public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak for or against this item? With that, I will close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Tadaszewski,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Shiraki.
Yes.
With a vote of 5-0, ordinance 2024-17 is adopted.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is item 16, and our city manager, Felicia Donnelly, will handle that item.
Item number 16 is approve a memorandum of understanding for vehicle and equipment repair service and maintenance between the Lillman Special Fire Control District and the City of Oldsmar. The Lillman Special Fire Control Fire District has offered to provide emergency vehicle technician inspection, repair services, and preventative maintenance based on the guidelines provided in the National Fire Protection Association 1911 standard. The current MOU expired on September 30th, 2024. This new agreement will remain effective until September 30th, 2027, and includes the following changes. Labor rate adjustment from $110 per hour to $140 per hour. Vehicle parts and oils and lubricants markup adjustments from 10% markup to 20% markup for parts under 1,000 and 10% markup for parts 1,000 and over. Added hazardous waste disposal fee to be billed at actual cost. The agreement has been reviewed by the city attorney. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Second. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on our agenda, thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Great job. It was easy for you tonight.
It was.
And
She
easy for Tom
deserves
tonight, too.
something easy.
Next item on our agenda is the city clerk, Kristen Garcia. Do you have anything for us?
I have no items, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Next is council comments, and we're going to start with Vice Mayor Steve Graber.
Thank you, Mayor. I think, like everyone, I am exhausted. And so just in the interest of time, I'd like to get back home to my wife and my children after going through what we've all been through the last 2 weeks. So no further comments from me tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Katie Gannon.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
What a setup.
You want me to keep talking? I can talk over you if you need.
So there's two things I really want to talk about tonight, and really only these two things, because they were really important to me and they were discussed at the Fort Pinellas School Transportation Safety Committee meeting. And it affects a lot of our residents because we have 2 elementary schools right here in our area. So it's important for me to talk about these two things. The first thing that we talked about is the start time legislation. So you guys probably remember that the legislature passed a law that the governor signed off on that middle schools are not to start earlier than 8 a.m. and high schools are not to start earlier than 8:30 a.m. And that's starting with the 2026-27 school year. Okay, so we have a little bit of time to figure out literally how are we going to do this. So the county, Fort Pinellas, in coordination with the Pinellas County School Board, are trying to figure out how to comply. Now, for certain school districts in more rural counties or school districts where they have, 2 or 3 schools, this is not an issue. And unfortunately for us, it turns out we are the most populous area other than Manhattan east of the Mississippi. So Pinellas County has a very big problem, and I don't know how we're going to comply with this, and neither does the school district. So here are some of the things that they're thinking about doing. We went over a couple of the options. One was combine middle school routes and high school routes. One of the problems that this creates is that you've got a mix of incoming 6th graders, and then you've got seniors in high school. That can be a concern for parents. Also, you've got a ton of transportation routes, some as long as 1 hour and 52 minutes. So you're combining routes, but you're not getting them to school on time necessarily. So we have to get them to school on time, and we can't have them awake waiting at a bus stop for the 2 hours that it takes to get there. You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't solve the problem. Another solution is to significantly reduce transportation provided for DAP, so district application programs. Those are like, the culinary program at one school, or the STEM program offered at another school. Gibbs High School, excellent arts program. There are students that are in North County that want to attend that program, and so the school district will provide transportation to them. But if we have to comply with this, those longer bus routes, those specialized transportation routes may need to be sacrificed. But a lot of people don't want to do that, because that's what makes our school district so special and unique, is that we have schools that offer these incredible programs, some as young as elementary, but many beginning in the middle school. So one of the most abhorrent to me, I'm going to look out at the moms in the audience tonight. The legislation doesn't speak to elementary schools. And so one of the potential ideas is to switch it from middle school pickup, then elementary, then high school pickup, to instead elementary pickup, middle school pickup, then high school pickup. Now, to me, this is terrifying because instead of having older kids, not that it's okay for any kid to be standing outside in the dark waiting for a bus, but to put our youngest children outside in the dark to wait for a bus to be bused to school is very frightening to me, because elementary schools currently start at 7:30 a.m. or would start at 7:30 a.m. So while my kids happen to get up in time for that, putting them outside during certain times of the year when it would be dark would probably be very frightening. And again, we're not even sure that that could solve the problem, because you still have to get the middle school and high schoolers to school by 8:40 or 9:40. Then you've got high schoolers who might have jobs or might need to get home to take care of younger siblings at 5, 6 o'clock. So it all shuffles backwards. So it's a big problem, and we all kind of settled on advocating during the 2025 legislative session to amend the law to allow local school boards to make decisions locally for what works best for us. So just keep that in mind as you speak to, perhaps our legislative delegation or members of our school board, to let them know that Pinellas County is going to have a hard, if not impossible, time complying with this legislation. Anyway, so that was one of the most important things to me, because the elementary school, having 2 elementary schools locally, it just terrified me. Second, at the meeting, we had a presentation, coincidentally, on the automatic speed violation program that Andrew Knapp, Councilmember Knapp, brought up the night before at the meeting. So a gentleman named Rick Cantor from Census Gatso Group came and made a presentation to us about the program. And because, I don't know, city staff have been otherwise obligated, I thought I would share with you the research that they provided. Now, this is an out-of-state group. There are local Florida consultants that we could work with, but he let us know, and I, of course, me, asked tons of questions, that generally this is how it works. It became effective July 1, 2023. It's 100% funded by the violators. The breakdown in the fees per paid violation is generally, $12 to the school district, $5 to the local crossing guards, some to the municipality, and some to the vendor. So it does break out that there is some earning generally, although it would vary by vendor. To put it into place, there is a speed study that's required. Okay, that's interesting. We've done those before, but actually this vendor, I don't know if all will, but this vendor will help us pay for that speed study. So that's kind of helpful. They also pay for the equipment. And what happens is, at the very beginning of the implementation of the program, they make their hard costs and soft costs back, because the tons of violations occur right at the beginning. And then you can, keep the devices and keep the program. Of course, the amount that you earn on it would be expected to decrease, just statistically speaking. So it does require FDOT approval. A non-response to the civil notice triggers a UTC, so it's a $100 fine. And then the UTC, it could go up. It does require a 30-day warning period, so you have to tell people, hey, we're going to do this. And then you can implement it. So the actual, and $60 would be distributed to the local government. There's an actual fine part of the legislation. But the event is captured on the photo system. The event is assessed by the third-party processing team. Then the police would review the actual event, providing the approval or rejection. They give a thumbs up or thumbs down at the local level. If approved, it becomes a summons, and then it gets mailed. So as Andrew mentioned, and I think, didn't you show like a chart at the last meeting? I can't remember of how quickly the enforcement worked, but the way it could happen would be speed studies, then a local ordinance is passed, a contract is signed with the third-party vendor, and the program is implemented after the 30-day warning period. So here was my biggest question and the biggest hurdle, I think, for us. The initial notice and that violation has to be reviewed by law enforcement. It can't be reviewed by Kristen, it can't be reviewed by any of us, it can't be reviewed by the city attorney. We do not have a local police office. We don't have, Dunedin Police Department. We don't have a police department. And so that would require us to establish, this was according to this vendor, so don't take this as Bible, but he said generally it would probably require an intergovernmental agreement with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office as our provider. He indicated that that would not be free. We love our Pinellas County Sheriff's Office officials, of course, but he said, you know, listen, here's how it goes. You could pay for additional enforcement by your sheriff's department at those times, at those locations where you have schools, or you could enter into an additional portion of a contract with your law enforcement agency for them to do this review process. Now, costs usually, it's worth it. I'm not saying it's not. Costs in our contract with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office historically have gone up, commensurate with the cost of providing the services, of course. But I doubt that they would, you know, go up and then come down if the number of violations decreased. So that was my main concern in kind of leaving the presentation. Again, there's a lot of different vendors that are doing this. I did not get the impression that many municipalities in Pinellas had implemented this just yet. Maybe because many lack a local law enforcement agency. But it was interesting, and it was also interesting particularly to me, that they help with signage, graphic design, branding, marketing, video PSAs, brochures, press conferences, social media, town hall meetings. They do all kinds of you know, work up front to, you know, set it up. The hard cost of installing the cameras and doing the speed study, which, you know, would be great. But, you know, once it's implemented, the question of who pays for it and whether or not we should direct those funds instead to just, you know, having local law enforcement at those places at those times instead. It's just one of those questions. So that was the data that was provided to me by that particular vendor. I'm sure there's more vendors out there that could provide us information or give us a presentation, but I just wanted to share that with you. I'm sorry I'm talking fast, but I know everybody is exhausted and wants to go. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Great information, especially after we just talked about it last meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. Sure, at this point, over the last month, everybody wants a do-over for the tail end, front of October and tail end of September. We were supposed to have had Ford Pinellas meeting last week and TBRPC yesterday, and those were both canceled, so have nothing to report or share on those meetings. But appreciate Councilmember Gannon bringing up the speed detection system issue, because the day after, I had tried to call Executive Director Whit Blanton with Ford Pinellas prior to last meeting. He did return my call the next day, and we discussed further that, you know, the general consensus was we would like to learn more about the ins and outs of these systems, and he expressed interest in wanting to help us explore that further. You know, I don't think that's necessarily a financial commitment or anything, but using their staff and leverage and getting in touch with our city management and figuring that out. So I just wanted to share that with everybody, because I don't know if he's reached out to you yet. Probably not in the midst of everything, but he's excited about the possibility of vetting it out further, and kind of us being, because he did mention no one else is doing it yet in the county. So we could essentially be the guinea pig or pilot program for the county. So I just wanted to share that because he definitely sees the benefits, but I'm sure there's pros and cons to it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Just wanted to share that little tidbit. And I am very worrisome if elementary school starts at 7:30, because I will be in a world of hurt of trying to get my kids out the door. So not looking forward to that.
I know there's not many bus riders at the elementary level, but even the elected officials and the county folks at the Ford Pinellas meeting, when that option was stated out loud, everybody literally
Audible
cringed.
gasp.
I mean, cringed, because it just, no.
Doesn't sound fun.
All right, well, thank you very much.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Valerie?
So I'll be quick too. I also would like to go home.
Everybody take their time. I was just saying. Like,
No,
you know.
listen, I had the same plan.
Pressure's on. You can't beat him now.
The emotional labor from the storm and hurricane fatigue, I believe is real. And so I think all of us are in need of a long nap. So I will be quick. I did get a chance the first week of October. I took a day off work and then dedicated my Saturday to going to EMO 1. So that's the Institute for Elected Municipal Officials. It's like mini city council member school. So I got to learn a lot there. I wrote a whole list of questions that I'll be talking to our city manager about and finding more about how everything works. So that was really exciting for me, and I enjoyed it. Special thank you to the Girl Scouts who did our pledge today. Thank you for coming out. That was special. And then I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at the Halloween events. So that's it.
All right, thank you. Again, thank you, Girl Scouts, for coming and leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance and taking us tour of the city hall last week during the flood. But thank you for coming out, and the parents for being involved. Thank you so much. I only have a couple things. I just want to mention one thing. The PSTA finally approved the ferry service for Clearwater, Dunedin. Well, the storm completely wiped out the Dunedin dock, so, yeah, the pier, so I don't know I don't know what's going on, I'll find out next week. And the only other thing I have is tomorrow, the Pinellas County Tourism Development Council meeting is still on, and there's gonna be a presentation of a beach update, so I'm looking forward to that. I will be attending that live because of quorum. And there's also going to be an update on the chamber program, which I know our Chamber of Commerce downstairs is really interested in. So I'm looking forward, and I'll give everybody an update on that. But that's all I have. I want to, again, very tired, very stressed out. I would like to go home and get some rest. So with that, I need a motion to approve the tentative agenda for November 5th, 2024 council meeting.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you again, Girl Scouts. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.